Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. I'm Steve Shaw here on a Saturday. I'm just making sure my video is public on Facebook. Kind of throwing this thing out here. We went to get a new dog yesterday, my wife's new dog, early Christmas present. And between that and normal Black Friday stuff, we didn't have much time to do a live video. So I thought I would hop on here today and see if anybody's around. We are headed out at noon to do a longer 3.5 hour run. And I got a couple hours, so I thought I would hop on live video. Just to let you guys know, if you're tuning in, if you post any questions and I do not see them, please post them up again. YouTube is very, very funny with comments. Robert is not with me here today. You can post anything, training, diet, nutrition, off topic. And before we get started, guys, I want to share something with you. If I can get this over here. Let me try this and see what we got. Over on my website above my head, Super Living Today, if you see this black bar up here, I got some Black Friday deals. These are good through Monday at midnight, and there's a link below. Please check these out. I am opening up 10 training slots. A few of them have been taken already, but I haven't really pushed them. The big thing, obviously, I got $5 off my books. $10 or 10% off my books, 20% off my logbook. Huge PDF sale. If you want any of my workouts or ebooks or courses, $5 off every one of them. $7 off all of these shirts. I don't make a lot of money to begin with on those. I don't really try to, but let's see. What do we got here? Now, the big thing I want to show you guys is that we have the Massive Iron Insider, and this is a new thing, the Massive Iron Insider. You can learn more here. Oh, that's my +1 book. I'm opening up the Massive Iron Insider. Let me stop sharing the screen here. Opening up the Massive Iron Insider. For those of you that want micro coaching, all the details are over there. I put the link. There's Stan. What are you doing? What are you making? I put the link up to John. He's flexing. I put the link up for anybody to join me if you want Robert's around. So what are you up to? Don't move your camera. You're going to give me motion sickness. I'm old.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What are you doing?
I'm cooking hot food for my kids.
So tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Norway.
And Stan's been with me for as a client for 6 months, 5 months.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop off, Stan, and I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to get on with the live. So thanks for watching.
Yes.
Bye. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So I'm going to post up you guys' questions, and I'll get them. Let me just get this. There we go. All right. So we got Woody Ellis from Scotland. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. Before I dive in, let me know where you guys are from. If you're in the States, how your Thanksgiving went. If not, how things are going in general. Jim Rat 101 says, this thing actually alerted me today. I'm shocked. I actually went over to Robert Chinetsky does live videos every Wednesday, and I went over to his video this week, and I was posting questions, and it didn't see my questions, so I'm not surprised. I got to make a comment about the hoodie, because somebody left me a comment on my videos this week and said, you're always wearing that stupid brown hoodie. Do you ever change clothes? It's actually freezing in my office. I got the space heater turned off right now. The dog's confused. And I keep my brown hoodie in my office. So when I come down in the morning, I live above my office. So when I come down in the morning, I usually slap that thing on to stay warm. So for those of you thinking I never change clothes, close. I just slap on my brown hoodie so I don't freeze. All right. So what do we got? Tom, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Tom. We got a new name here. Hello, first time. I did not recognize the name. I appreciate you joining in. You guys have any questions at all on anything, just toss them in. It is just me today. I did not tell Robert I was doing this. I just kind of jumped in at the last moment. All right, Sam. For every 3 sets of overhead presses, do I balance it with 3 sets of pull-ups? What Sam is referencing here is when you are looking at programming, one aspect of balance is you have the horizontal press and the vertical. You have the horizontal press and the horizontal pull, and you have the vertical press and the vertical pull. So the vertical press is an overhead press. Do you balance it with 3 sets of pull-ups? Well, you probably should balance it with 3 sets of a vertical pull, like pull-ups or lat pull-downs. So in general, for most trainees that I program for, I have probably about 6 sets of heavy overhead presses a week, and I program in close to 6 sets of vertical pulls, sometimes only 3 because it can be difficult if you're training at home. You can't really do pull-ups or lat pull-downs. Some people can't do pull-ups very well. So it's kind of a difficult question to answer. If you can do pull-ups and you have access to lat pull-downs, yes, you should balance them. If you can't do pull-ups and you are training at home and you have no access to lat pull-downs, you're pretty much screwed. So you got to do the best you can do, if that makes any sense at all. Just want to remind everybody, the links down below to my Black Friday sale and to my Massive Iron Insider. The Massive Iron Insider is a it's a new service. It's not a full-blown coaching service. My coaching clients get all the perks for free. But if you sign up for the Massive Iron Insider, you get access to the forum. You get access to my training app. You can reach out to me any given day, interact with me with questions on your programming, on your nutrition. You can send me exercise form videos. Robert Chinetsky is on the forum. You can send him supplement questions. So this is a really good deal. It's like micro coaching. You don't pay nearly what you would for regular coaching. All right, what do we got here? Eric, can you speak on incorporating a new, more physically demanding lifestyle? Can you speak on incorporating a new, more physically demanding lifestyle? Do you mean transitioning to something that's more physically demanding? In terms, I'm assuming this is not work. I'm assuming this is just exercise. Ease into things. The biggest mistake people make when it comes to trying to add a lot of exercise into their life or adding exercise in their life is they immediately try to arbitrarily plan. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out and do that. They immediately arbitrarily set goals. Like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. I'm going to run 8 hours a week or whatever. The best thing I can say is ease into things. You have to have an idea of where you would like to go, but it's best to ease into things over a period of time. Like if you're getting into running or something like that, give yourself 2 to 3 months to slowly break into things. Don't say I'm going to start running 8 to 10 hours a week and then start doing that. Don't say I'm going to jump into training 5 days a week and just go at it. I mean, the focus should be on progression, whatever physical endeavor you're doing, trying to improve without getting hurt. So my best advice is to slowly ease into things and have big goals, but don't rush to get there. Just allow your body some time to adapt so you do not get hurt. All right, what do we got here? Tom. Getting an exercise bike so I can get in some cardio. Thoughts on how to get started in the beginning. I lift 5 times a week. The first goal I would set would be to try to get in an hour a week. Try to get in an hour a week. On the bike, you want to kind of exercise at what's called conversational pace. Don't just go in there and try to ram it and try to put the pedal down and go super fast. Take your time. Let me just turn off notifications here on WhatsApp. Take your time and ease into things. Do conversational pace. Allow your body, your muscles, your tendons, all that kind of good stuff to acclimate to the new demand. Don't do it before lifting. You want to do it after lifting on off days or first thing in the morning. And the best thing for anybody that's adding cardio or another form of physical activity is to focus on consistency the first 2 months, okay? Focus on just remaining consistent with it the first 2 months. Focus on just getting in your workouts. Once you get 2 to 3 months into it and you understand the demands of this form of physical activity, then you can start increasing the intensity if you want. Today, I have nearly a 4-hour run, and I certainly didn't start that way. So I hope that helps some. Eric, I bought a farm, and I have to cut down lifting days. All right, so your lifestyle is very physically demanding. When I got into powerlifting in 2006, 2007, I was working as a machinist, and I had a very, very physical job. What I would recommend, I have an A-B split on my website, but I would recommend using maybe an A-B type of split and using a flexible schedule where you kind of rotate between these A and B workouts based on how you feel, based on what life is dealing you that day with your body and the demands of the farm, if that makes sense. And if you guys have any questions or follow-up questions on anything I say, it's hard to get in a complete answer, but you can head over to, you can email me, benthebarman@gmail.com, or you can head over to Instagram and private message me at benthebarman. All right, let me get a drink. I'm still trying to wake up here. Yesterday, we had a 5 hours of driving to get my wife's new dog. And let me see if I can get a picture of the new dog. She sent me pictures. Hold on. She sent me a picture. Let's see if we can find it. Here we go. It is a miniature dachshund, whatever you pronounce it, however you pronounce it. It's not my pit bull. All right, what do we got? Screen share. There we go. Where is it? There he is. There he is. And we'll do a little share. There he is right there. That's Mr. Butters. My pit bull is Peanut, and this little guy is Mr. Butters. So there you have it. All right, what do we got here? Charles, would it be okay to train biceps on push day, or will it affect the following pull day? You do not want fatigued biceps going into a pull day. It is okay to do biceps on a push day. I program that for a lot of my clients, but you need to have your biceps fully rested and recovered before a pull day, and that will require a day or two of recovery, of rest for your biceps. So if you're not sure how to do that, you can send me your programming. I'd be glad to take a look at it and give you some suggestions. All right, how do you warm up your neck before the big three? No one warms up their neck. There's no neck warm-up protocol for the big three ever anywhere in the history of the universe. So I'm not sure if that's something you found somewhere, but when you're doing the big three, you are you're going to be moving a lot of plates around. You're going to be moving around the gym, getting your body temperature up just from normal warm-up sets. You're going to be getting your CNS engaged, so no need to warm up your neck. All right, what do we got? Slim, how's it going, Slim? I've had the flu or something this past week, so no training. Do you recommend just going back full force? What I would recommend, Slim, is when you feel a little bit better, like you wake up and you feel, I feel kind of normal. I would use that day or the next day to hydrate and get in plenty of electrolytes, because you might not feel dehydrated. You might not feel off, but I would get some complex carbs in. I would get some electrolytes in, and I would make sure you're drinking enough water. I would just recharge all those batteries for a day. And then the next day, I would go back into the gym and listen to your body on warm-up sets. Don't try to go in there and say, I'm going to arbitrarily do this. Just listen to your body and take what it gives. I probably wouldn't go 100% full speed on the really heavy work, your top sets, unless you're feeling like a stud, but mileage may vary. All right, what do we got here? Eric, when we eat grocery store grade chicken and dairy, do we absorb the estrogen that is in it? Your body absorbs whatever is in the foods you are eating, whatever sources they come from. There's a lot of paranoia about hormones in food, and it's certainly it's a very, very complex question, and I wish Robert was here to dive into a little bit more. But you got to look at good, better, best. You got to consider food choices when it comes to your budget. Eating crap food and processed food, fast food is obviously one of the worst things you can do. So that's the worst thing. We want to wipe that off the table as much as we can. From there, we want to go to single ingredient foods like chicken, broccoli, as much as we can. Probably 80%, leaving the other 20% of our diet for pizza and beer and nachos and all that kind of fun stuff. But when it comes to hormone levels in your food, generally it's not a major concern. Because you probably should be mixing up your food choices anyway. For example, I eat pork, I eat chicken, I eat beef, we eat things like crab cakes, sushi, shrimp, steelhead trout. So we really vary the food choices we eat. So I would be more concerned with that variance of food choices than how much, am I getting am I eating too much tuna? Am I eating too much chicken? Those sorts of discussions. If that's all you're eating is chicken that's been hormonally stuffed, then hey, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert on that. I haven't looked at any studies lately. I don't really think the impact on your health is going to be that noteworthy, but Robert will be here next Friday if you want to do a follow-up question on that. Stan, it was really cool talking to you live. And sorry I had to cut you off so short, Stan. I get motion sickness when the camera moves. Stan says, do you have any Black Friday sales for clients? I have Black Friday sales for everyone. You can check out the link down below. $7 off shirts, off most shirts, $5 off all PDFs. I have 10 new client slots open. I have books on discount, my 2 hardcover books and my log book, and so on and so forth. The Massive Iron Insider is for non-clients. So we got some deals. I'm not a mega superstore, but I did put my T-shirts and PDFs on a pretty big discount for anybody that wants to stock up. All right, Stephen Del Moro. Will I be leaving a significant amount of back gains on the table if I only do RDLs but still attack my back with all the basics and some machine cable work? Conventional has never felt right. No, not really. I did not do deadlifts for 21 years. So RDLs are perfectly fine. I wouldn't consider an RDL an upper back workout. It's kind of a different beast than a deadlift variation. But the beautiful thing about working your back is that there's a huge resource of exercises you can train your back with. And you can rotate these in. You have barbell rows, dumbbell rows, T-bar rows, meta rows, 2-arm bent over rows, pendley rows, seated cable rows, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, inverted rows, machine rows. You have so many amazing variations that Do you need to deadlift basically? No, the deadlift's great for erectors, and your RDLs might add in with the might provide some erector strength benefit, but you don't have to deadlift. It's a good idea to deadlift, but you don't have to deadlift. There's so many good back exercises that you'll be just fine. Giuseppe, can I improve bench press with push-ups? Not generally. And weighted push-ups? Not generally. If I don't have access to bench in the COVID period? No, not really. The body adapts to very specific demands, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it'll be good for maintaining chest mass. It'll be good for keeping you, where you need to be when you can return to the bench. But no, I mean, push-ups don't really have a lot of carryover to the bench. They're just two different exercises. The body really responds specifically to, adapts to specific demands. And, there's not a lot of carryover. You can see guys that when I benched close to 500 with chains, I could barely do any push-ups. So there's just not a lot of carryover for the average individual. Some people are going to debate that, but usually if there's any carryover at all, it's going to be for smaller guys or naturally weaker guys that haven't really built up a reasonable base. Gym rat, when doing squats, I'm getting pain right above the inside of my right ankle. It goes away after a day. Am I setting up wrong? Likely. You're very likely setting up incorrectly. And I say that because as somebody that looks at probably 50 squat videos a week for my clients and just people asking if I can look at their squat video, generally people are setting up wrong. The angle of their knees are not close to the angle of their feet. It's causing issues when they try to hit depth. This can target your ankles, your knees, and your hips. So really good idea to have somebody look at your squat form. What do we got next? All right, Eric. Sorry, that was backwards. I bought a farm trying to incorporate that into my lifting. Okay. Sorry. I got a little bit confused. That's okay. I'm excited for you because having a farm is kind of a good thing. You can do many, many things. I'm not sure if you're going to be raising chickens and eggs and all that kind of fun stuff, but trying to incorporate that into my lifting. I gotcha. How's the new dog? Pretty good. It slept in our room last night in its kennel. It whimpered for about 10 minutes in the middle of the night, but overall really good. Really fun dog. My pit bull, who is right here. If you want to come say hi, Come here. Come here. My pit bull is very curious. And come here, Tubby. Come here. Get on camera. There. Don't look so terrorized. You're on camera. This is Peanut. Peanut's still adapting to the little dog. I mean, my wife's dog is so small. It's literally, you have to be careful walking around the house so you don't punt it. Sorry to be so honest, but it's small. Orion, hello from Texas. Gained some serious weight over Thanksgiving. Good healthy crap, a good healthy dump, and some normal eating. You'll be fine. That's a little bit of water retention. What do we got here? Jeremy Hyde. We all have information overload. Imagine you woke up tomorrow at your biggest, 6 foot 330. What's the one thing you tell yourself where to start? Where to start with the fat loss without overwhelming yourself? Where to start with fat loss? Well, imagine you woke up tomorrow at your biggest. What's the one thing you would tell yourself? Just what I learned. Here's what I learned from my clients. Consistency. That's such a big thing because I have two types of clients: the clients that lose weight rapidly and the clients that lose weight slowly. And the clients that lose weight slowly tend to be like, tomorrow's my dog's birthday. On Friday, it's my mom's second knitting party anniversary. And sometimes I see people clients going out to eat with friends, and they use it as an excuse to abuse their body. The biggest thing is really to understand that we can celebrate without being self-abusive. That's a really, really big thing. So we have to learn to celebrate life without abusing our body. One bit, I mean, man, there's so much to cover here, and there's a couple points that crossed my mind regarding with fat loss. I was mentioning to a client this morning that some clients get frustrated, like it's a slow process. And I have to remind them of the reality that it has to be a lifestyle change. How you are eating now during your diet is how you're going to be eating when you are done with your diet, except you get a few more calories. You don't get to go off your diet and go back to eating the way you did before, because that way is killing you. That is a lifestyle of death. So if there's one thing you need to understand, that you need to radically change how you approach food. There's no way around that. There's no way around it. If you think a diet is tedious, if you think the fat loss process is tedious, hello, welcome to the rest of your life. That's what normal eating is. You have to have some form of restriction or some set of rules. Stein, I ordered a Slingshot. Is it okay to use on every bench workout? Absolutely. I used a Slingshot on every bench workout. At some point, it felt good on my shoulders. There's really no downside to it. If you want to use it on bench and then not use it on dumbbell bench, or if you want to rotate it every other workout, that's fine. Let's see, what do we got here? I will do the other chest workout without it. So I'm just making sure I understand it. Use it on every bench workout. Again, you can use it on every bench. Every other is probably a good way. Or use it on bench and not use it on dumbbell bench. I like to keep a little variety and no real rhyme or reason other than that. Anthony, I'll be starting strongman next week. How could I incorporate bodybuilding as well? Anthony, here's what you need to understand. In the off season, power lifters, strongmen, whatever, they're going to train in the power building style more or less that I teach. So the power building style is going to help you build muscle. Any of my workouts are really more power building. What you need to do is really understand when you're going to be training your strongman. Maybe it's just on Saturday. I know a few strongmen that do their regular training during the week and then their strongman type stuff on a Saturday or something like that. So what you need to understand is that's the way it works. I don't think, and I'm not a strongman expert, but I don't think they generally train everything like that every single day, if that makes sense. So let's see, what do we got here? I caught a life again and right in time. Live. Sorry, Duxhund. Is that how they pronounce it? Yeah, I'm not up on that, so I appreciate it. Dave says, "How about my buns?" Dave, how about a block from this channel? Thank you very much. What do we got next? Oops, I'm just trying to. What do we got here? Fantastic pup. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. What do we got here? Stein. Do you know if there's a benefit using HMB supplements? Robert covered this quite a bit, and I do not believe there is much. HMB is one of these supplements that has been around for a long time. I remember it being touted back in 86, 87, 88 when I was first picking up bodybuilding magazines. And from my experience, it's a pretty useless supplement, as far as muscle building or any hype associated with it. How do you deal with a day of overeating? You first are thankful that you were able to celebrate, because that's a normal part of life. And you need to next understand that if the scale is up dramatically, 99% of that's water weight. and a bunch of food floating around in your digestive system. No need to do anything radical. Just return back to normal eating, and that should normalize within 4 to 5 days. One thing I will tell people is that when you are overeating, a day like Thanksgiving, you really want to have a reasonable water intake the next day, because your body has just been hammered with a completely different, type of eating, and you're going to feel a little bit bloated. So I would just get in the water and just try to return to normal. The biggest problem is that when people turn a bad day into 2 bad days or 3 bad days, like, okay, we got a bunch of leftovers on Friday, Saturday, oh man, I feel like crap, I don't feel like cooking, let's just get pizza, and then all of a sudden, you got a whole month long of chaos. Dave says, I'm quite nervous about folks seeing me in the gym. My muscles are away. I would ask your muscles to return. I would send them a nice little letter. I'm not really sure on what you mean, Dave, but maybe you can explain. I'm not trying to be an asshole, just not really sure what you're saying. Ruben, I'd like to make my neck thicker. Which of any exercises are best? Compound movements. I really, really am not a fan. I made a video of this, Dave, or excuse me, Ruben. The guys with the big necks have spent 10 years building up their big lifts, okay? And I made a video about this, and basically, if you haven't built up a big neck over a period of time by doing compound movements, you can't really expect to build a big neck by doing neck exercises, because you haven't established a track record of building up your major movements. If you have built up your major movements, then your neck size is going to go up naturally. So just something to think about. Jonathan, which one of your programs or others would you recommend for a 3-day-a-week power building or intermediate lifter? Let me just pull them up right now. And let me screen share here. 1 second. For an intermediate lifter, if you go over to my website, and these are all on sale right now for $5 off. There's a workouts tab. Anybody that comes in Insider is going to get all these for free. Just note that. So I have a 3-day-a-week power building cycle, or 3-week power building cycle. A 3-day-a-week power building for intermediates, the A-B split right here, you can do that 3 or 4 days a week. That's a really, really good option. You also have the 5x5 power building program. That's a good option. And I would probably simply either check out my book, Massive Iron, which has a bunch of programs, or I would probably look at the A-B split, because the A-B splits, you're going to have 4 workouts. And you basically cycle between the 4 workouts, upper A, posterior A, upper B, posterior B. You can see that down below. You can insert rest days as you need. And that's a really good way to train 3 days a week. It's an effective approach. So I would generally probably check that out. All right, guys, let me get a drink here. I'm going to stay on as long as you guys have questions. So fire them up. Texas Hoosier. Recently had, I believed, a pinched nerve in my lower back and hips. I was leaning too far back on overhead press. Have you seen this issue before? I mean, the overhead press is, there's one reason I like to do back supported overhead presses, because I feel they're a lot easier on the lower back. Everybody's obsessed with military presses, standing military presses, or the push press. I can't say I've specifically seen a pinched nerve in the lower back, but I will say I'm not surprised. I'm a big fan of back-supported military presses, just because, you see so many guys just arching that back and getting that hyperextended lower back and hyperextended spine. No one really ever talks about it, but it just makes me cringe whenever I see a military press variation. And I've always done the seated presses. I've always enjoyed them. Never really had an issue with my back. I'd probably advocate trying to explore those just as an option to see what you think. In a video, you mentioned a guy named Rich Knapp. He had MS. How do you spell his name? Let me bring that up for you. Rich Knapp. I was at his show when he received his pro card. All right, here's old Richard. Let me just pulling up pictures to make sure there's in the Google search that there's no naughty stuff appearing there. All right, here we go. Rich Knapp. Not sure if you can see that. Rich was the first natural wheelchair bodybuilding pro, natural pro. Rich is shredded. If you've ever seen his pictures, KNAPP, shredded. So it's KNAPP. What do we got here? Look at this guy. What are you eating? He's got.
What is up? Hold on, I got Steve going on in both ears right now. There we go.
He's got chipmunk cheeks. What's going on, Robert?
Nothing. Protein bar.
Which flavor of one bar was that?
Dark chocolate sea salt.
I've not seen it. This is completely unplanned. I just decided to do a live while my wife was doing a lesson. So I'm like, hey, I'll just jump on. So how you doing, Robert?
I'm doing well. We were. I got your message, Steve, that said you thought you were maybe doing a live this morning, and I was out walking with the halfling. It's 50-something degrees out here, and she was going to pick flowers out in the little green belt back by our house and everything. So we just came back from doing that, and I cooked the girls breakfast, bacon and eggs, and they're munching down on that. And I was going through my morning rounds of emails and whatnot.
Sounds good. We mentioned the Massive Iron Insider, but I want to touch on that while you're here because this is something Robert and I are doing together, and I want to see if I can share the screen because this is a real important thing. We've had some people sign up already. At the top of my website, and you can find a link below to the Insider. The Insider is linked below, but you can come on over to the Black Friday deals. And it says, huge announcement. All those that sign up for the new Massive Iron Insider will receive a PDF copy of the new book plus one. Robert, anybody that signs up for the Insider before Monday at midnight is going to get a chance to win a $200 supplement stack customized from you. That's going to be from Amazon based on needs. Can you kind of explain to people how that'll work?
Yeah, basically, you and I will hop on me and the person that wins this. When I say you and I mean you is the person that wins this package. You and I can hop on a Skype call if you want to. We can do a Zoom call, or you can just do an email, whichever form of communication you prefer. We can hop on. We can say, hey, here's the $200 budget. You pick it all. You say what you're looking for. It could be pre-workout. It could be general health stuff. It could be a protein powder. It could be something to make your toenails grow faster. Whatever you want. We will find a 200 stack. It could be nootropics, productivity stuff to make you feel more alert, more energetic, more with it in the morning to get shit done during the day. Anything you want to do, $200 budget. Walk me through all your likes, dislikes, what you want to work on, what you don't want to, stuff you may be curious to try, but you've never actually pulled the trigger on. We'll have a conversation, and we'll try to come up with the best package possible for your needs.
Yeah, and we will ship this. This is going to come from Amazon. If you have another source that you would like it shipped from, we can certainly work with that. We can't ship anything to your country that can't be shipped to your country, but we're willing to be completely flexible. So if you sign up for the Insider before now and Monday at midnight Eastern, you are registered to win, and people are signing up for this. I want to talk about the Insider quick, and then we're going to get back to questions. But if you see on my Black Friday deals, there's a link, sign up now. Link below in the description box is a link to the Massive Iron Insider as well. And I want to talk about this because there's a lot that me and Robert are offering. This is like micro training. Okay. This is only $24.99 a month, but you're going to get a lot of stuff. We have a private forum. Robert, you can go over to the private forum. You can ask me questions, send me videos for exercise form critique. Robert, you're over there and you have an Ask the Supplement Engineer thread. They can ask you any questions at any time on supplements, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I've just stressed one of our normal users that we see on these lives every Friday, Redline Fitness, and the people that are tuning in probably recognize his handle. I just helped him formulate a custom pre-workout. We picked all the ingredients off Amazon and stuff. So that's kind of like the inside information you get. He said, "Hey, design me your dream pre-workout. Just tell me what it is. I don't care about budget right now." So I did that. I've helped some other people pick out protein powders. When we're starting to get more into that. So the more questions you guys bring, the more detailed answers that we can give you, much more detailed than we can give you in like the little 2 or 3 minute blurbs that we do here on the lives.
Yeah. So this, the insider is really, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. If you have questions on your workout or exercises or exercise form or supplements, we are going to be your senseis, so to speak. We are here for you. You have access to a private forum where you can interact with us, off-topic stuff. You have access to an app. The app is mine. You can keep your workouts, your stats, your macros. And if you have a problem and you need me to comb through your stuff, I can then go look at it in the app and say, okay, here's what your weight is doing. Here's what your calories are doing. Here's what your macros are doing, etc. It's not full coaching, but you can keep all this stuff in our world, and we can look at it and analyze it and tell you, hey, you're on the right track, change this, that, and the other thing. Now, outside of the forum and outside of the, and this page details, look at this, all this information is what comes with the insider. But I want to add that all my books and workouts and PDFs are going to be on the forum, available for free. So all the crap that I sell on my website, you get free access to as an insider. So you'll save big money. That's a big perk. Robert and I are also going to do private meetings. They might be on Zoom. They might be on YouTube Live. But anybody that is an insider gets access to a private live video. So it's basically FaceTime. We can get on there and we'll give you the link. You can even hop on the video and talk. Both Robert and I are going to be putting out 2 articles a month, new articles a month that are members only. Robert, can you kind of discuss what topics you're eager to dive into for the members only articles?
Yeah, a lot of it will be exploring kind of the cutting edge research. So what's the latest stuff? Either from a mechanistic standpoint or animal models or even human studies, because of the supplement industry, we don't have as much funding dollars to do human trials a lot. So a lot of the stuff that we initially find as identifying unique sources of ingredients are going to be from mechanistic data that we determine from cell cultures and animal models. So I comb through 10 or 15 different journals each week trying to find out new studies, because new studies are coming out each week. And so I'll comb through, a handful and see like, hey, that's a really interesting though, and that we could maybe explain that, because most people, less than 1% of all published research is actually read. And what I've always enjoyed is actually diving into the studies and explaining them, pulling out the salient points, explaining how this may have utility, where we could see this go, what ramifications does this have if we can maybe use it in a human study. And we also have, there are human studies published in the supplement industry. There's not as much as the animal model. So, what would be a human equivalent dose from what the studies are here? Is this even meaningful from a human standpoint? Because sometimes these rodents have different genes or different DNA makeups than you'll find in here. So if you're finding a certain ingredient that targets something in a rat, but it's not in a human, then it's not going to make any difference in us whatsoever, because that biological pathway isn't an option. So we'll be doing that. We'll be doing some nutrition stuff. I might also I'm really passionate about training at home and getting the most out of the least equipment possible. So we might do a series of like home workout articles to build on that, since some people are still, not able to go to the gym for whatever reason. And any topics like you have on here, we could be doing in-depth pre-workout breakdowns, because we get, Gorilla Mind has been one that's been on here, several others that we've had countless times. And we're able to kind of break into it a little bit during these lives. But I can really give somebody like a definite article saying, here, go read this. This is everything that I can possibly say about this ingredient in this pre-workout. Here's what my thoughts are. And, if I have actually used the product, here's my anecdotal, N=1 experience, or me and Sandy's combined experiences on it.
Yeah. So Robert will be open to really anything, and he's going to have certainly things he's passionate about. But if you guys want to see a topic from him, He'll be definitely open to that.
Yeah.
And, we can't rule out one thing, when people send me questions on the forum, sometimes I just pop a video and upload it to YouTube. It's private, unlisted, but sometimes it's easier to answer questions. So don't rule that out. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, Robert, and then we'll get back to questions, is Masterclass videos. These, Robert and I are going to dive into specific subjects. We're going to be starting on Tuesday, and I believe we're going to be doing the pros and cons of very abbreviated training versus very high volume training. But the master classes are going to be basically videos that are about an hour long. If not, we're not stuck to the hour time limit, but we are going to be diving into specific topics. They're going to be seminar style, no messing around. We're going to have bullet lists. We're going to have all the major points we can think of to discuss. We're going to comb through everything we can think of on a topic. These will be for sale for $49.99 on the site, but members of the Insider will get them for free. So by being an Insider, $24.99 a month, basically, less than 80 cents a month, you get all the Masterclass videos for free. You get our articles. These are members-only articles for free. You get private YouTube or private live videos. You get all my books and workouts and all my old stuff for free. I'm adding that as we speak. And you get access to us for micro coaching, supplements, training, whatever. So that's a huge value. And if you're interested, again, check out the link down below. Anything to add on this whole package, Robert, before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, aside from just like the perks of having access to our knowledge databases, Steve, is just you get to be a part of a community that sans all the bullshit and, toxic nonsense that you have to deal with on social media. There's not going to be any shenanigans here. There's not going to be any bullshit malarkey, fear mongering, scams from like supplements things or nutrition hacks and stuff. This is like pure, honest, no bullshit fitness talk. People that enjoy lifting, enjoy living a fit, healthy life, and you can leave all the nonsense there. So if you're kind of sick of all of the shenanigans that go on, come join our community here. We've got some really, really cool things in the works going.
Yeah, I just kicked this off last week, and it's like Robert said, it's not just an opportunity to ask us questions. We keep this as a tight forum. There's no bullshit, no haters, and no general nonsense you see on social media. It's a place where you can respect the iron, where you can post your questions and not worry about being attacked. I don't tolerate that stuff. We got, the off-topic stuff is fun. We got off-topic threads on anything from beer to cigars to playlists and just general stuff. So it's a good, solid community and a good escape from all the nonsense going on in 2020. All right, pork meat. Just let me know if you need to hop off, Robert. I know it's unplanned. What's going on, pork meat? Programming question. If you are training chest and shoulders in one workout and want to do 6 sets of each, how do you count things like bench press or overhead press? You have to analyze the movement patterns, horizontal press and vertical press. I would suggest if you're doing a horizontal and vertical, or if you're doing chest and shoulders in the same workout, to alternate every other workout. One workout start with chest or a horizontal press. The next workout start with shoulders or a vertical press. And frame them in that way, whether they are, what plane they are on. So I alternate. I'll do a horizontal press and a vertical press and a horizontal press and a vertical press, so on and so forth. Robert, anything to add to that?
No, that's basically what I would have said. Nothing else to add to that one, Steve.
Yep, just simple math and simple balancing. All right, Ryan Humiston mentions in one of his videos, lightweight versus heavyweight, that lighter weights comparatively build more muscle in the 15 plus rep range as you can isolate the muscles. There's no progressive overload left. Done. You might, if you start with side lateral raises or chest flies, you might gain 10 pounds to those lifts in 30 years. How do I know? Because I've been lifting for 30 years. My side lateral raises aren't with 100s, and my chest flies aren't with 150s. So, Robert, I do enough pounding on Mr. Humiston. That's his name aside. How would you answer this question?
I mean, it's it's I don't want to be too harsh here, but I mean it's just ignorance. It's you're ignoring what the scientific data has said from the research standpoint. The 15 plus rep range does not build muscle better or more than anything in like the 6 to 12 rep range. They all, as long as you're pushing the muscles to a high level of fatigue, both high reps and low reps build the same amount of muscle. It's all about pushing your muscles with a high level of tension to the point of either near failure or failure. The more advanced you get, the closer to failure and past failure you have to train. But if you're a beginner, early intermediate, even like a middle intermediate, just get within 1 to 3 reps of failure in whatever rep range you're working with, anywhere in like the 6 to 30 rep range, and you're going to be fine. Humiston it's his shtick right now, and it's what got him to where he is not what he's doing today.
And if anybody doubts that, he has a channel an older channel on YouTube that has only about 42 subscribers. And his back workout, he's deadlifting 585 and barbell rowing over 315. So that's I'm nothing against Ryan, but I want to give you guys the best information. You need to understand. I have people that tell me they train at his gym and he doesn't train how he teaches. So I'm not there in his gym. I just am piecing together the puzzle pieces given to me. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a moment, Robert. And I'm going to come back as Ryan Humiston and say, well, that 15 rep range creates time under tension. What say you?
I could lift a pink dumbbell for 5 minutes straight. That's a hell of a lot of time under tension, but it's not fatiguing. Time under tension only means something if there's sufficient tension there to cause you to fail. So just because I can do these light dumbbell side laterals for a minute and a half, 2 minutes straight without even doing that, sure. You're also walking around on your legs all day long. That's a hell of a lot of time under tension. But do you have massive quads from simply walking around all day long? No. That's because the tension isn't significant enough to force the body into an adaptation. That's what I would say to it.
Well, see this right here. I used to give this example. People would say, well, the higher reps, I get the whole lactic acid thing, the lactic acid build up, the pain. You can hold a pen over your head long enough and you're going to get lactic acid build up. That's not going to equate to growth inherently. There has to be some progressive overload in the mix. So you want a reason. When I teach on this channel, you want a reasonable amount of volume. That naturally creates a reasonable amount of time under tension. We do talk about certain muscle groups that don't have a big range of motion, like calves and like traps, and maybe things you can increase the reps or time under tension for to increase the stress. But in general, Mr. Humiston is wrong. Burlai bodybuilding. Is it okay if you stick to mostly heavy compound lifts and do little accessories? Now we have the other side of the coin, Robert. If we do very little accessories for building muscle. Arbitrarily, we often toss out that compounds do 80% of the work, right? And we understand that that's just an arbitrary thing. But I have found that when I do not do a more flushed out program, I do not feel as strong and I do not feel I am maximizing my size. Plus, regardless of how much time you have a week to train, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, the more compound movements you put into that, as you get stronger, all your pressure on your body is going to be from compound movements. You're going to be focusing on these limited amount of movement patterns over and over and over again as you get stronger. I'm not a big fan of that. And I believe you should train each body part with a well-rounded number of types of movements to get the most out of hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is not to jump on the other side of the coin of Ryan Humiston. Hypertrophy isn't simply heavy compound movements for progression. There are other factors involved. Is that correct, Robert?
Yes, 100%.
So, do your compound movements and then move on and do some less intense compound movements, maybe machines, cables, whatever.
Yeah.
Stan, when I wake up in the morning after heavy deadlifting, I feel like Superman in my body. Oh, I feel like a steaming pile of monkey crap.
Yeah.
If that's the case, man, just go with it. That's all I can say. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. I'd like to ask, how would you maximize one set of dumbbells 35 pounds? I've talked about this a lot, Robert, so I'm going to let you tackle this question. You're at home. You only have 35 pounds, up to 35-pound dumbbells. How are you going to get the most out of your hypertrophy?
You are going to most likely have to superset, triset some exercises. So if only you have 30 sets, let's use chest for an example. Let's say you can normally do, I don't know, floor presses using 60 pounds for 12 reps. Okay, so obviously 35 pounds isn't going to be much of a challenge. You could probably do 20, 25 reps without even blinking. So you're going to need to find some way to make yourself fail with that 35 pounds. So first you could set up doing dips. Use 1.5 reps on dips. So go down all the way, push up halfway, go down all the way to the bottom, push up all the way again to the top. Go to failure on that. Rest 15 to 20 seconds. Go into decline push-ups where your feet are elevated on a bench and your hands are on the ground. Rep to failure with that. Full controlled reps, lowering yourself down under good control. Don't do the whole herky-jerky, turtle fucking a coconut kind of thing when you're doing push-ups. All the way down, all the way up.
Wait, turtle fucking a coconut?
Yeah.
We need a shirt for that.
And then after the rest another 15, 20 seconds, then go hit your dumbbells. You could do floor flies to failure, or you could do dumbbell presses to failure, and then rest 2 to 3 minutes and repeat that tri-set. And that's how you can maximize one set of dumbbells. And then you're going to do something similar to that for your leg training, for your back training, for your shoulder training. Basically, you need to cause pre-fatigue. So you're going to create these little tri-sets or quad sets of exercises that are going to induce enough mechanical tension fatigue into the muscles. And then you're also going to build up benefit from some of that metabolic stress that's going to accumulate from stacking 3 or 4 exercises together. And that's how you can be able to get more out of, less weight availability.
So, Robert, I appreciate that. I'm gonna toss a question your way, Robert. That's completely not on our feed, but I was talking with a female client. Robert, have you ever looked at the normal testosterone level ranges for women? What they typically recommend? I believe it's like 12 to 70 or something like that. I could be off a little bit, and surely people have different standards. But I'm just curious if you've ever come across this. I had a female client that I worked with for a long time, over a year, that had a very sluggish metabolism, and she was exercising 5 days a week, maximizing her calories, so on and so forth. And it was a complex puzzle. But I recommended that she have a look at her hormone profile, and her testosterone levels were 8, like low on low on low, for a woman. And, she asked me, she said, from a TRT standpoint, there was, a woman could go on TRT with very low level TRT. Have you ever run into this, Robert? Any women doing, testosterone replacement therapy? I assume by taking testosterone, their estrogen levels would come up a little bit. Yeah. But, my question is, at what point do they have to face the hair loss and the deepening of the voice? And wow, it'd be such a microdose.
That is way beyond my intellectual prowess. I have no idea. I haven't even considered. I mean, like, all the girls that are on like in Mr. Olympia competitions or the Miss Olympias and the women's bodybuilding, they're, jacking that stuff through their veins and all that. But like a normal, healthy, functioning female, I have zero clue on that. I don't know. I've never actually even thought to look into that.
Well, I've never explored it either. I think it would take a very intelligent doctor to be able to handle that question. And I assume it would be such a microdose just to pump it back into the normal range that, I'm not even sure I'm not even sure a shot would be the way to go. Maybe some microdose of an oral or something.
Or you put you could do a patch. I think they have time release patches now, or there's something they inject underneath the skin, and it's got like a time capsule release.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting topic, but if you ever come across anything, let me know. We're getting a lot of new, interesting people this week that we don't normally get on our Friday live. So I'm loving it. RP, tips on reducing SOMs. What's SOMs, Robert?
Serious onset muscle soreness instead of delayed onset muscle soreness.
I've never heard of SOMs. I assume he means DOMs, but
Yeah, I would assume so. I'm being a smart ass.
There's so many things that float around out in the lifting world. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing something. Tips on reducing DOMs.
I would say first off, start with your nutrition. Make sure you're having enough protein and carbs after the training session. Beyond that, you could look into stretching and foam rolling after your workout as well. Getting enough sleep, definitely there. Go for a walk a couple times a day. That might help just to increase circulation, especially on your off days. Beyond that, looking into supplements. We already said protein, so you could look at protein powder as a supplement if you're not getting enough protein in there. Something else could be 1 to 2 grams of L-carnitine, L-tartrate, which has been shown to reduce muscle damage induced by eccentric exercise, and reduce markers of muscle damage, increase muscle recovery. Creatine also has been shown to improve muscle recovery, 5 grams a day, every day. L-alanine, L-glutamine, 1 to 2 grams of that. It's an enhanced form. It's a complex form of glutamine. So regular glutamine is useless. It doesn't get really digested. The cells lining the intestinal walls break it down before it can get into the small intestine, then absorbed into the bloodstream, and then transported to your muscles. L-alanine glutamine is the amino acid alanine bonded to L-glutamine. You take both of those together, the alanine kind of acts as a sacrificial lamb where it gets cleaved off, allowing the glutamine to get through the rest of the GI tract and then into the muscles. That's actually been shown to reduce markers of creatine kinase, other muscle damage markers, and improve recovery. And last but not least, tart cherry extract, 450 to 800 milligrams. There's a few different standardized versions out there, but something like Cherry Pure is the brand that I typically use if I'm forming like a post-workout supplement for a brand.
Yeah, all I can really add is what I used to do. One of my favorite things to do after every workout, I'd eat a big dinner and I'd go take a long ass hot bath. I would just soak my body, and it was good for relaxation, good for decompressing, and how much value it has, I don't know, but I like the combination of doing something like that with some active recovery. Texas Hoosier, I wear a weightlifting belt, which seems to help my lower back. Your thoughts on weightlifting belts? Generally, my advice is until your form is pretty rock solid, like you've had somebody look at it and they say your form's pretty good, then you could consider wearing a belt. Why do I wait until that point? Well, if you can't get down reasonably good deadlift and squat form, adding a belt and trying to brace against the belt is just another piece of throwing another puzzle piece into the mix when you haven't figured out the original puzzle pieces. So I would wait until then. Anything to add, Robert?
No, I've never used a weightlifting belt, so I have zero expertise in that area.
Yeah, I don't use one. I've never. When I was a bro, I used one back in like '87. At the gym a couple times, but it was like wearing an earring or something. It was a fashion statement. It wasn't really of any benefit. Arnaldo, thanks for the advice. Thanks for tuning in. Ivan Paras, how to break an incline bench plateau. I talk a lot about plateaus, and my new book, Plus One, which will be out soon, discusses plateaus. But here's the thing we need to understand. Plateaus generally aren't plateaus. Your progress slows over time, and I don't know your specifics, and I'd love to take a look at them. But what you need to understand, I had a client today that went from 220 by 6 to 220 by 7 on bench. Finally, right? That's an increase of an estimated 7.6 pounds to your 1 rep max, just from 1 rep. So basically, 1 rep matters. And if you can get 1 rep a month, you're looking at maybe 85 pounds of progress a year on a big compound movement, 1 rep a month. So the first thing you need to do is analyze the math of your lift and how often are you making plus ones. And if it's consistent, every month, every 2 months, then you have to start looking at things like diets and consistency and so on and so forth. But if you need more advice, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'd love to help you out. Dave, how'd the turkey and ham come out? Good. Robert, I'm not sure what you guys make, but we always make turkey and ham each year. How about you guys?
Well, this year, last year we went to some friends' houses here in Texas, down the street from us, and they did a big turkey and all that. This year, they had some other friends in town, so Shane and I did something here, and we actually went and caught up with them yesterday. So for our Thanksgiving, we roasted 2 mini Cornish hens. I made my homemade cranberry dressing like I usually did. We did stuffing because that's Sandy's favorite. I also made a protein pumpkin pie, which was a really cool recipe, which I'll upload that to the forum in case anybody wants a protein pumpkin pie recipe. Did a bunch of grilled asparagus. I think that was it. 5 things, and cornbread dressing too. Yeah, and homemade Caesar salad dressing for our Caesar salad pre-course.
Yeah, we were going to make homemade stuffing with all the all the good stuff, like old school stuffing, not just from the box.
Oh yeah, that's the way we do it. I don't do any box stuff around here. I love cooking too much to rely on a box.
But we want to pull out all the good stuff out of where it normally is in the turkey, and the turkey we had didn't have any. It literally had none.
Weird, strange.
I don't know if they just stopped doing that because people aren't using the extra bits anymore or what. But it was a little bit strange. But I'm a ham guy. I'll eat the turkey, but man, I'll eat ham all day long.
Yeah.
Have you ever used a massage gun? It's funny you mention this. It seems like every 2.3 hours, I'm getting a DM from some company trying to get me to do a infomercial on this channel about their massage gun. I've never used one. I simply don't have time to screw around with all this stuff. How about you, Robert?
I've heard good things. I've just never used it myself. I got most of the anecdotes that I've seen. People say it works pretty well. But I still think the best way is just using your hands or getting, your wife, girlfriend, whatever you want to say to massage it if it's in an area of your body you can't reach. I think manual manipulation tends to work better than foam rollers or lacrosse balls or even the massage guns.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to massage, I'm just gonna get this out there and just leave it at that. I don't have a lot of time, so I usually leave my massage time to sexy time. All right, so that's all I got for today. All right, I'm trying to ask you something but does not occur. I'm not sure if you're posting a question that's not showing up. Speaking of which, I was all excited, Robert, because it's Wednesday. I'm working. Your live video is coming on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch Robert's live video, and I'm going to post up a bunch of questions. So I post up my questions, and you guys aren't reading them. And I'm posting my questions, and you guys aren't reading them. Like, what the fuck? So I go over to a different account off Gmail, and I don't see them. So I post a question from there, and you guys don't see it. So I go to my wife's, I go to my other YouTube channels. I literally use 7 different Gmail accounts, and none of them posted. That's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it's whatever is the crappy algorithm or software that YouTube is using. It's missing comments somewhere, or the StreamYard interface between StreamYard and YouTube posting is not working. But I mean, I repeat the same thing that you do when we hop on these lives every week. It's hey, YouTube sucks for some reason. If we're not answering your question, it's not because we're ignoring it or avoiding it. It's because we're not seeing it. So
there's the strangest thing, and it's not just tied to Massive Iron. It was somehow tied to, I don't know, my IP. Maybe my IP got blocked somehow. I don't know.
Interesting.
God knows why. I mean, the only thing I used to go on was Tiger Fitness Live. I used to do them occasionally. I have a pull-up bar. My goal is to do 3x10. And then I will add weight. For push-ups, I do them with 20 kilograms. It's a good goal. I see a lot of people doing low-rep pull-ups for weights, with weight, like 3x5 by 3x6. I usually recommend my clients get the 3x12 before they add weight. But that's just me being my paranoid old self. But I don't know. I mean, are you a fan in general, Robert? What would be your thoughts on the low rep 3x5, 3x6 pull-ups versus mastering the body weight first before you start to microload.
That's where that's basically, yeah, I don't even consider telling people to start adding load till around 10 to 12 reps. I'm talking perfect form, like dead hang. You go up, you get at least your chin. And even before that, I'll have people, and I do this for myself too, is like if say you can just get your chin above the bar, okay, you get 10 reps like that. Now get to the point where you can get your sternum to the bar, like the old Geronda style sternum pull-ups where you get that. Franco Columbu used to do the same thing there. Work on getting your chest all the way up to the bar and then down. And if you get to do that 3 sets of perfect 12 reps coming all the way down to where you come to a dead hang, you don't have to let your shoulders shrug up like that, but you still keep them packed. But full extension, a hang down, a control at the bottom, no momentum, no kipping, none of that CrossFit bullshit. You do that, then you can start doing that. But always work on maybe increasing range of motion or going to a more difficult pull-up variation, maybe holding for a second at the top and using like a 3-second lowering phase instead of just up and down, up and down. There's so many ways to progress pull-ups without necessarily having to do weight. I think part of the reason I'm hesitant to or reluctant to do it until later on after, because people's technique suffers. They start chasing the ego of seeing how many more 45s they can strap around their waist or how much more weight they can add each time. Meanwhile, their range of motion is getting shorter. There's more strain going on the bicep tendon. Form gets, just really, really herky-jerky, and it's just something that it's – plus there's there's so many cool pull-up variations you can do without necessarily having to do weight in order to create overload and put more tension in the muscles.
I find in my client base, I see – and I hate to say this without pissing off some of my clients because they don't know better, but I see more ego lifting on pull-ups than just about any other lift. And people are eager to do pull-ups. I get it. Mm-hmm. And they're not doing it on purpose. But like when you see somebody stop with an elbow bent like this on a pull-up, like they're not going all the way down or there's not a controlled eccentric, what kind of impact, Robert, do you think that has upon the bicep?
You're setting yourself up for tendonitis, and eventually you're going to rip something. I mean, that's there's no other way to put it. You start doing a lot of bouncing in between the reps, or you're doing these half reps, and you're just putting more and more strain on all those little structures that one day they're just going to pop and be gone, and you're going to wish you hadn't been doing the stupid shit you were doing. Yeah,
I like to see people ease down on pull-ups on the eccentric and control it. One thing I talk about eccentrics is you control the weight or it controls you. And if you are not controlling the weight on the eccentric, you're putting something at risk that's really unnecessary.
Yep.
All right. What do we got here? A supplement question. Stein, is one of your hook stim free pre-workout okay? Trying to use less caffeine and need an okay pre-workout.
Let me pull this up. I'm not familiar with this. It's hook. Is it off the hook pre-workout? Is of the hook pre-work stim? All right, let me see. Off the hook.
Stein's from Norway, so that's could be.
Nothing's coming up on my end. Off the hook pre-workout.
I have something from Finland.
Asta off the hook. There we go.
Off the hook. Yep, that's what I came up with. And he is from Norway, so that might make sense. Yeah. You got a screen share on that, Robert?
I'm trying to find the supplement facts.
Yeah, I got a picture, but I do not have the supplement facts.
Oh, shit. This is all in some other foreign language that I don't understand. Okay, here we go.
You got translate on yours? I got translate to English. And accept the cookies. Oh, you got it?
I've got the label up. I understand what most of these are, but not all of them. Yeah. Okay, is my screen shared right now? Yeah, okay. All right, So we've got, go away, beta-alanine at 3 grams. That's a fine dose. Anywhere between, you need between 3.2 and 6.4 grams per day to reach saturation. So beta-alanine, you need to take it multiple times throughout the day, preferably in 1.6 to 2 gram doses. Creatine, is this creatine monohydrate, Steve, or is this
where
some
are you
other creatine leuconate? Let me see.
I don't have. Can you share the link with me in the private chat, and I can do some English stuff.
Yeah. Whoops. Bear with us, people out there in YouTube land.
I want to make sure we get this right.
Because it's 3 grams of a form of creatine. I'm just not sure which form of creatine it is the thing.
Let's see what we can figure out. Hang with us, guys. This is a pretty interesting. Where's the where do you got the ingredient list on here?
Go all the way down, and then you'll see the pass up the C4 I'm fucked up Supreme pre-workout and all that.
Okay.
And then it's the Rabbit to Sodiati and
I didn't scroll all the way down. So we got creatine, leucan, okay.
Leucanati, yeah. Whatever that is. All right, I'll keep going down the list, and whenever you figure that out, just shout at me. Betaine, we got at 2 grams. The clinical dose of betaine is 2.5 grams, or 500 milligrams short of that. We've got citrulline malate at 2 grams. That's way underdosed there. You want that to be at least 6 grams, preferably 8 grams. So anywhere in the 6 to 8 gram rep range of citrulline malate is the clinically backdosed. Arginine alpha-ketoglutarate is fairly useless. There's the research on it's mixed at best, so it may have some benefit, it may not.
All right, Robert, I got it. Sorry to interrupt. It translates dead nuts to creatine gluconate.
Gluconati. Okay. Without knowing the fraction of creatine that's actually in creatine gluconate, I'm going to assume it's a little bit less than that. I mean, 3 grams of creatine monohydrate is the bare minimum daily dose that you need to take. So I'm going to say that's underdosed on that spend. And so we've also got alpha-ketoglutarate here, arginine alpha-ketoglutarate, 1 gram there. 1 gram of L-arginine, again, useless. L-phenylalanine, you don't really need that in a pre-workout. 1 gram of L-tyrosine, that's fine. I prefer 2 grams of it, so 2,000 milligrams. Choline bitartrate, 1 gram of that. That is the less bioavailable form of choline that does not cross the blood-brain barrier. Choline enhances acetylcholine production in the body, which is responsible for muscle contractions, learning, memory, and the mind-muscle connection. But choline bitartrate form is the really cheap form and not very well absorbed. It can reach systemic benefits and help the liver health, but not much for cognition and brain improvement. 1 gram of taurine is fine. I'd prefer to see that at 2 to 3 grams. 350 milligrams of caffeine. 300 milligrams of Panax ginseng, giving you 30 milligrams of the ginsenosides, which are the fun little bioactives inside Panax ginseng. So that's on the lower end of the standardization for Panax ginseng. Oh yeah, I mean, caffeine, it's fine. Everything else is fairly underdosed in my opinion. So, but I mean, it depends on what you're looking for in your pre-workout. Do you just need a big shot of caffeine? Then this would serve the purpose. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more comprehensively built, a little bit better dosed, I would try to find some better options out there.
Wow, that was an interesting question. We appreciate it. Hey, Robert, I'm going to toss something to you because I just saw B12 in there. And I don't know, we've never talked about this, but the female client I was talking about with the testosterone issue, they recommended injectable B12 shots just for general energy. Have you ever done any research on the efficacy of injectable B12?
I know it's a big thing in like the biohacker community and some of those things where they get injectable vitamins and vitamin infusions and all of that stuff. I haven't done much on the research side of it just because I haven't felt like I've been severely lacking in my B vitamin intake from the foods I eat or the multivitamins. I haven't felt super low energy levels on or anything like that. If you're using really poor quality multivitamins, I could maybe see needing the need for it, or eating like a vegan diet where you're not getting much B12 because it's only found in animal foods. Maybe some vitamin infusions in that case could make sense. But I haven't done much extensive research into it at all.
Before I move on to the next question, thanks, Rob. Before I move on to the next question, just a reminder, those of you that want to join Massive Iron Insider, it is linked down below this video. Will insiders get videos of Robert flexing shirtless? I think we need a gold tier package here, Robert.
We get to 5,000 subscribers to that, Steve. I'll do a shirtless flex.
Now, I am not one to judge people's fetishes, okay? I'm not one to judge. What I'm about to say is not in judgment of a fetish. It is simply a fetish request that I have gotten for the last 4 years on Instagram. So One time I did took a picture where my armpit was showing in on Instagram, and I got a message from a gentleman that wanted more armpit pictures. And for the last 4 years, every time I post an armpit picture, this gentleman is basically willing to pay me for pictures of my armpits. So I'm not judging, but if you would like armpit pictures, we might have to set up a gold level service.
Well, this is something else. Okay, so all right, people that are listening are familiar with me. Know I'm married, and Sandy. If they've seen Sandy, they know what kind of a character she is. So I don't even flex for my wife. Okay, this is how much I enjoy keeping my clothes on. I don't even flex for my wife. I got out of the shower the other day, and she was sitting in the bedroom, and I walk out, and she says, "Do you ever just stand in front of the mirror and flex?" I said, "No, I don't do that." She says, "If I worked out as much as you, I would be doing that, Robert." I thought, no, that's something weird that I don't like to stare at myself in the mirror. I don't want to imagine myself with my shirt off or anything like that. I don't know. I've always been that way, like even as a kid. So I don't. Maybe there's something way back in my subconsciousness that doesn't. You know.
I'm about to take this to a real crazy level and put a visual in people's minds that will never leave. But we're going to do it because it's Saturday. But I never flex. But occasionally, if I want to be obnoxious and my wife is sitting on the bed and I get out of the shower, I'll do the old dingle flopper where you just flap it up and down.
I've never done that. I can say I've never done that to my wife.
Oh, yeah. All right, moving on. Thanks. Where are we? We gotta go back to something serious here. Any opinion on Perry RX pre-workout from Barbell Medicine? We really probably should just do a comprehensive video on Barbell Medicine, Robert, because I think we're getting a question every week.
Yeah. All right. I've got their pre-workout right here. Perry RX. Is it they make a caffeinated version and a non-caffeinated version? So here's the caffeinated version. We've got 1 gram of valine, 1,500. First off, this is a horribly done supplement facts panel. Things are supposed to be listed in order by their weight. So this is a non-compliant supplement facts panel label right there, right off the bat.
That's a graphic designer that doesn't understand supplements and a company that might not understand. I'm not slamming them, but I just know working in the industry how particular things like that have to be.
Yeah, this is not a compliant label, so we'll start there. The salient points, we'll get to that. All right, so 4 grams of citrulline malate, 2-to-1. So 2 grams of citrulline per every gram of malate. Like I just mentioned, the clinically backed dose is 6 to 8 grams, so this is underdosed from that standpoint. Creatine monohydrate is 2,500 milligrams. The bottom threshold on that we like to see is somewhere between 3 grams all the way up to 5 grams. Now, in their marketing literature, I believe they said on one of the pages, it said it contains 1 gram of betaine, which could support creatine production. You could maybe make the extension that, hey, see, I thought it said somewhere around here. Let me pull it down here. 1 gram of betaine anhydrous to complement creatine's effects. There's no actual research showing that that actually is the case, and there's also no betaine listed on this label. So there's no betaine here. So their marketing copy again needs to get updated. 500 milligrams of beetroot powder. There may be some polyphenols that benefit it, but the nitrate content of actual beetroot powder is so low, you're not really going to get any benefits of the actual nitrate content. There are a bunch of studies in endurance athletes, especially chugging half a liter or 16.9 fluid ounces of beetroot juice, which has meaningful amounts of nitrates in that would confer some kind of benefits towards nitric oxide production. But the standardization of nitrates in beetroot powder that you find in supplements, you would need on the order of like 10, 20 grams of beetroot powder to get any kind of meaningful nitrate benefit from it. So that's really just on there for maybe some polyphenols and window dressing. 300 milligrams of caffeine, that's a solid dose. 3 grams of leucine, that's good. And then the rest of this is all just essential amino acids. So you're getting 10 grams of EAAs, including 3 grams of leucine, 1.5 grams of isoleucine, and 1 gram of valine. So that's 5.5 grams of BCAAs out of a 10-gram EAA blend. You get 300 milligrams of caffeine, underdosed creatine, underdosed citrulline. 3.2 beta-alanine is standard. That's fine. But everything else this is very unremarkable as a pre-workout.
So, when it comes to the Massive Iron Insider, if anybody has stuff like this, they can post up a question like this to Robert. And Robert, if you don't have time to type it all out, you could just pull it up on here and drop it in and do it unlisted. So we're open to pretty much anything to help you guys. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous. I've not seen a label that badly executed in a very long time. And that doesn't mean the supplement is bad, but the copy is off. The actual labeling is wrong. So I would actually probably follow up with the company just to see, hey, it was up.
Well, yeah, there's also outright lies on the page. It says 1 gram of betaine anhydrous, which there's not a gram of betaine in the product, and it says 500 milligrams of nitrate, which again is a lie because that's assuming that every single gram of that beetroot extract is nitrate, and it's not. It contains paltry amounts, like 1% nitrate. So it's an outright lie on their website. So I
wouldn't want that type of copy getting the attention of anybody watching the supplement industry or their supplement line. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Just let me know if you got to go, Robert.
Okay, I probably got another 20 minutes or so.
Okay. I was going to try to hop off at noon, so let's bust through these. Is conjugate an option after doing 8-hour shifts of hard labor? Yes. I was a machinist. Conjugate aside, training hard after an 8-hour shift is possible. Your body's going to have to acclimate. You're going to have to bring up your calories to match it. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely possible. I did it myself. Not conjugate, but how to maximize trap bar deadlift gains. Train your body from head to toe, get as strong as humanly possible, get your traps strong, get your quads strong, get your rows and back strong, and just attack and make sure you nail consistency with your nutrition. All right, let's roll on here. And if we are short on your questions, please follow up with them on Instagram at Ben the Barman or at the Supplement Engineer, or join the Massive Iron Insider. All right, Orion XS. If you're progressing in compounds, do you need time under tension on isolation exercises? Very good question. The overall time under tension is important. And we talk a lot about junk volume. So as long as it's not junk volume, yes. You can't just pound your body with compounds and expect to feel great when you're 50, 60, etc. So that time under tension helps. You're at the point where you're about 80% done after compound movements, but you still could use a little bit of volume. So yes, they do help. And there's many ways to structure them. Robert, any thoughts or anything to add?
Yeah, as far as isolation, so if we're going to compare the amount of progression you can have on a compound versus an isolation, it's going to be a much narrower bandwidth of progression that's allowable on an isolation. So that's when you can start implementing more time under tension stuff. So let's take the lateral raise, the dumbbell lateral raise or cable lateral raise. Let's say when you first start lifting, you can do 7.5 or 10 pounds. By the end, you may be able to get it up to 25 or 30 pounds. If you're really good, you're really strong, you're a genetic freak and all that stuff. Let's say you can get up to 30 pounds with really strict form. You're not going to be able to keep going 35, 40 pounds like you would on a bench press where you start off maybe with 50-pound dumbbells and you start benching the 120s one day. So at that point, you do need to start doing things that increase time under tension, like 1.5 reps, paused reps, 3, 4, 5 second eccentrics, rest pause training, things like that. So these time under tension techniques, those can be as an added implement, especially with isolation exercises, once you're not able to keep adding load to the bar. It's another way to induce progressive overload, even in the absence of being able to actually put more poundage on a given lift.
I'll add, when it comes to my follow-up exercises, like once the bench and dumbbell bench are done, I prefer to move on to exercises that have some form of progression, like a machine chest press or a pec deck, or even supersetting chest flies with push-ups, things like that, things that aren't strictly tethered to a very limited range of motion. On lateral raises, sometimes I'll have clients do 40s or 50s where they're doing 40 to 50 rep rest pause for some pump work. So I don't generally advocate strict isolation work on my back off exercises, if that makes sense. Reverse curls are my favorite exercise. You might need a therapist for that. Just kidding. I don't really care. I'm just being a smartass, but that's something I've never heard before. No judgment. My forearms, traps, and calves are my best natural attributes. My friends tell me to stop hitting them or I'll look odd. I would tell your friends to stop doing what they're probably doing far worse gym crimes than you are. So keep doing what makes you happy, man. I mean, simple as that. Big traps, there's no downside to that. Reasonable sized calves, no downside to that. And, I have big forearms. I never had anybody tell me, with big forearms and big traps, it's usually the opposite. People usually stop you and say, man, look at those veins on your forearms. What do we got? How would you continuously progress in isolation movements? You don't really. We just talked about this a little bit. I generally advocate supersetting with them. You can do drop sets, run the rack, rest pause work. The key is kind of to get creative and beat the muscle the last 20%. Yeah. The one thing I'll say, and I'm sure Robert will agree, is don't try to turn an isolation exercise into a compound movement. Robert, can you kind of explain what that means?
Yeah, so something like the leg extension, you're not going to use that as your barometer for gaining leg strength. I mean, short of you being in rehab for like ACL tear or something like that, there's going to be a finite amount of overload you can do that. You'd be much better served by using the squat, a Bulgarian split squat, the leg press, the hack squat, something like that, something where you can there's a high barrier for overload. There's a large gap or a large bandwidth for overload. Where a leg extension, I mean, you might, most racks on those go up to like 180 or 200 pounds. Most people are going to be able to doing more than that. Same thing with a curl. You're not going to gauge your strength off how much you can curl, because eventually either your ability to overload is going to be, you're going to hit that roof where you're not going to be able to overload anymore, or you're going to start doing like hip hinges and swinging and recruiting your shoulders, your traps, all this other shit to move that over. So you want to pick an exercise that has a high degree of overload, has a high range that you can overload it on. You can add a lot of weight to it. So that's why things like bench press, deadlifts, back squats, rows, these have a high degree of overload. You can load them up a ton. You can progress on them seemingly forever until you hit your natural strength limits. Those have a much greater range for overload than isolation movements do. So that's why when you can't keep adding load to them anymore, that's when you have to start doing the 1.5 reps, the decreased rest, the supersets, the trisets, the pause reps, all those kind of things.
One of the interesting developments in the bodybuilding community specifically is that you will see people like Humiston talk about feeling the muscles on compound movements. But then when they switch over to isolation movements, they start turning the isolation movements into mini compound movements where they're doing chest flies with 70 pounds and it looks more like a half compound movement, or the same with side laterals. So we really have to be aware of this. These turning isolation movements into compound movements to try to chase progress. That's not the way to go. Timo Cruz, laughing at your coconut comment. Let's see. Thank you guys for answering our question with detail. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. What do we got here? Scotty Mac, protein pumpkin pie sounds amazing. Robert will toss that recipe up.
Delicious.
David, squat shoes worth it? I get this question a lot. Are they worth it? First off, get your squats down. Get your squat form down. Second off, I would try with a shoe that doesn't cost $150 or whatever they cost. Try flat-soled shoes. That's what I squat in. And if your squat form is good and you can't squat in flat, barefoot or just with a flat-soled shoe, then I would probably explore it, but only if you have a lot of fat stacks in your bank. Robert, have you ever messed around with squat shoes? I have not.
I have really flexible ankles. Ankle mobility's never been an issue for me, so I've always squatted barefoot.
All right. Steve, you focus a lot on running now. Can you ever see yourself flipping back the other way and focusing on power building? I actually focus on power building right now. I mean, my goal is to run 100 miles and look like a power builder. So I just don't post a lot of my workouts on social media because, number one, they're not spectacular. Doing 225 by 5 by 10 on bench or whatever is not spectacular. A lot of times I'm doing 8 by 8s. It's just boring stuff. It's boring stuff. I love lifting, and I want nothing more than to get back to more balance between lifting and running. So, yes, absolutely. I have goals that will come post-lifting if this COVID crap ever lets up. But we'll see. What's your thoughts on deer jerky? Eat it and eat it often. I'll eat any jerky.
Delicious.
You're down at Tejas. I imagine there's a lot of deer jerky or just general jerky in your area.
Lots of smoked meats and dried meats and cured meats of all kinds down here. Yes, lots of jerkies.
Yep. What do we got? I started lifting at home and deadlifted 125 kg for 3 reps. Is that enough weight at 5'9" and 180 for a beginner? Yeah, that's a good beginner weight. Let me do a quick calculation here. And 125 kg. 125 kg for 3 is about a 1 rep max of 132.4. And kg to pounds, 132.4. That's close to 300. I think you could probably get 300 on your deadlift or even 315 gun to head because those last rep or two. So for a beginner, yeah, that's absolutely good progress. You're definitely on the right track. Do you have any mobility programs or routines? I have horrible mobility. I get asked this a lot, and mobility is just simply nothing I'm passionate about. I just don't do a lot of work. Do you do anything specifically, Robert?
I've kind of assembled a bunch of things over the years just from different either YouTube videos I found or like back in the day, like when I first started into training regularly, I did P90X and P90X2, and they had a lot of mobility and yoga work in there. And we also did a fair amount of stretching and stuff like that in Taekwondo when I was growing up. So part of it's always kind of been ingrained in me, and I've picked up a few things here or there. So you can check out one of those old programs if you want to, KO Surge, or you can look up a thing called what's his name? The guy that wrote Supple Leopard. What the fuck is his name?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or check out Smashworks. That's a YouTube channel. That guy is a certified physical therapist, and he does a bunch of mobility stuff, especially like improving like achy shoulders and hips, knees, ankles, stuff like that. So go check out Smashworks YouTube channel. There's some really good stuff there. His older videos from like 4 or 5 years ago, really, really good stuff. And it's Smashworks with a WERX. That's how he spells works. And
let's see. Alberto says, with regards to comments not appearing as chat, make sure you're subscribed. I'm definitely subscribed, but I appreciate. That could be the case for somebody. I'm certainly not ruling it out. And YouTube is really funny. My questions weren't appearing until I realized this account wasn't subscribed. I'm certainly not ruling that out at all, and I'm not discounting your comment. YouTube is very, very funny and fickle, and I could see where it wouldn't allow people that weren't subscribed to comment.
Yeah.
Are wrist straps supposed to feel uncomfortable? I know Jordy Schneider's can wear them for hours. If you can wear them longer than a set, you don't have them tight enough. Literally. I mean, you got to unwrap and wrap those things because the purpose of wraps is to provide some tightness, some support. And to do that, you have to wrap them generally to a level where they're uncomfortable. So maybe Mr. Jordy Schneider's doesn't wrap them to that degree. Maybe he prefers a more moderate amount of tightness and support. I'm certainly not judging him. But if you can wear them longer than a set, they probably aren't doing much. Orion, I got caught checking myself in car windows.
There you go. Do a little tricep flex, and you check that out?
Yeah, that's That's okay. As long as your mom's not catching you doing that, you're good. As far as plus ones, where do you add weight? There's no specific rule. If I'm lifting, usually shooting for 5 to 7 reps, add a rep for 8, or do I try to go 9 or 10 before adding weight? It's all lift dependent. On some of my clients, they do 6 rep squats, and when they get to 8, then they add weight. On some, it's 8, and then when they get to 10, it's add weight. Basically, it's each lift, each lift. So, last question, Robert. What's your thoughts on MCT oil?
I think it's not necessarily useful for the average person. You'll hear a lot of like the paleo and keto communities jumping on this because they're trying to get you away from carbs. And the benefit to MCT oil is that it provides a rapidly, efficiently usable source of energy, similar to how carbohydrates are in the body. Yes, when you digest them, like most long chain fats, they have to go and get broken down and then reassembled, and then your body can use them. MCTs can go and get directly oxidized and picked up by the muscle tissue and be used immediately for energy, similar to how glucose is used. There's some benefits showing that it may help reduce hunger. It may lead to improvements in blood sugar and body weight reduction. All of these studies are done in unhealthy populations. For healthy people, I don't really think it provides much benefit at all. It could be a source of maybe some beneficial fats in the diet because it's got some antifungal, antimicrobial benefits, things like that. But there's no magic to it. If you're consuming an otherwise healthy diet, there's not really going to be much benefit at all. It may stimulate the production of ketones in the liver, but again, if you're not going for an ultra low carb diet or a ketogenic diet, I don't see much utility in the average person's diet form.
Thanks, Robert. Thoughts on ab wheel? Use a barbell. The gym close to my state. Or if you have an ab wheel, yeah, use it. I think an ab wheel is good. Planks, if they get too easy, you can do plank variations like rolling planks or knee to elbow planks or knee ups or whatever. There's a lot of plank variations you can do to really up the game. So I like the combination of ab wheels and plank variations. Which is better for cutting, volume or increasing intensity? Intensity increases is weight relative to your 1 rep max. You don't want to do that while cutting. If I tell my clients that are cutting to limit their weight to about 82.5% of their 1 rep max, and maybe you want to drop the intensity a little bit, maybe a little bit more volume is okay. Some people struggle during a cutting phase because the volume's too much to sustain because of their energy levels. So in general, don't go too heavy, but I would not run out of the gate to cut volume. Adam, just finished day 1 of your workout. My grip strength stinks. Got to get those Versa grips, Adam. I've only been working out for a few months. Thoughts? Versa grips. I can't stress this enough. It'll help you stave off elbow tendonitis, and you don't want your grip strength preventing you from growing your back, and that's generally what we're looking at. So you can get some captains of crush, do pinch stuff, static holds for your grip, but do that after you do your back work. I would ask Santa Claus for Versa grips all the way. All right, we are out of here. Robert, I sincerely appreciate you jumping in on short notice. I'm going to go run for 3.5 hours. I really feel like doing that right now. I'll tell you that. Robert, where can they just a reminder, guys, check out the Massive Iron Insider down below and Black Friday deals. And Robert, where can people find you on social media?
The Supplement Engineer on Instagram, the Supplement Engineer at gmail.com. You can also head over to the Supplement Engineer channel on YouTube today at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern time for the final scoop that we'll be doing a live recording today in just about 2 hours. So that gives me time to go slam a pre-workout real quick, get my upper body workout in for the day, and then get ready for a podcast at 1 o'clock. So I will see all of you there. And y'all better sign up for the Massive Iron Insider. We got a tag team of doom right here, and we're ready to help you with micro training. All right, Robert, we'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend. You too, Steve.